You are welcome to HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Vlad hosts some of the biggest celebrity interviews and has over the years grown a following of over 5 million subscribers who follow him with the hope of catching up real quick on his next big one, an indicator they love his videos and are more than ready to support the channel for what it does so well. Vlad has also come out to say that he is indeed still the biggest talent when it comes to asking the questions for these great stars and icons of success to answer in a way that when it's not his voice in the background, the views suddenly begin to drop. Something that affects the channel negatively, forcing him to return into action and take on some of the greatest combinations, such as when he has Boosie behind the camera. Indeed, he is right, because whenever he has the likes of Boosie in studio and it's him making the interview, to those that cannot look beneath the surface of things, it's always seemingly interesting to listen to. Looking a little deeper into his interviews and the way they actually go, however, will reveal to you a few rather not so nice things. Vlad tends to dominate these interviews, shutting the guest up and forcing in new questions as a way to achieve his own personal objectives for the interview at the expense of what could be the guest's targets, which should also be considered important. This makes Vlad a taker more than he is a receiver, and while we are not saying this is wrong considering it is his channel and therefore his interview, it destroys the great opportunity the guest, who could be an artist, an actor, or even a businessman, could use to put their best foot forward and also be able to meet their own needs by speaking to the millions of people that follow his channel. I believe interviews like these should be a win-win for both the interviewer and the interviewee, but for Vlad, he has to be the sole beneficiary while using your energy to keep his viewers entertained. This concern escalated among black people when he recently mentioned how he made an interview with R. Kelly in prison that he won't put out simply because he had hopped to discuss Kelly's rise to fame, his music, how he moved from one stem in his career to another, like he was out there sitting in a hotel lobby and eating on a humbucker waiting for Vlad to call in and ask him a few questions to build his career. Vlad must be living on Mars to imagine a person in R. Kelly's situation right now could be out there looking for an interview to discuss his muted music and his next great hits he plans to release when he is finally out of prison. This doesn't make Vlad any different from those fancying a big music show by R. Kelly in prison, which in the real sense is a hoax. R. Kelly is in prison for God's sake, and it ain't fun lying in a 5x6 cell waiting for a plate of food you haven't selected on menu to slide in, most especially when you know well you were wrongly convicted like Kelly was. He definitely needed to talk about his case like he has been doing throughout his past 15-minute interviews. According to Vlad, however, this is not the kind of content he wants to put out, even though he took the interview and archived it just in case the views go down so he can release it. Something he confessed to in the same discussion happens once in a while. Vlad does not stop at speaking sarcastically about this R. Kelly situation, but also goes on to look down on the R&B King for what he is currently going through, stating that R. Kelly is currently at his lowest, coming from living a premium life to having to share a cell with what he calls a bunch of dirty men, as though to say jailed people are not Americans, but just a bunch of invaluable dirty men. Well, that's not right, and Vlad is wrong to refer to people like that. It's not right that he says these things about our fellow black people who have made his channel what it is today. For God's sake, Vlad has hosted many of our African American brothers and sisters on his channel, and has won over millions of black American subscribers because of this. For him to come out and disrespect them like this, describing one of us like this, is just not right. Vlad generally trivializes everything R. Kelly talked about in the interview, including when he discusses his health condition, mentioning how the prison nurses would not remove the cast on his operated leg, and how he suffered blood clots because of this negligence. But Vlad shockingly still thinks that's not important to put out. How insensitive can he be to speak like this on R. Kelly's health issues? As if this was not enough, Vlad goes on to judge R. Kelly when he says he is guilty, referring to the tape evidence that according to him justifies his claims, forgetting that he had just said he didn't want to be the one to decide who did what and who didn't. I mean, no disrespect to his channel, but how could a man followed by millions of people pass his own judgment on a case that is still being appealed in court during his first of a kind appearance? He cannot be using black people to shine so big yet be quick to throw them under the bus when they eventually need his show to pass on a message to the world like R. Kelly does now, then be bold enough to go on MATH HOFFA and speak about it like he did anything to help. Hey Vlad. We are certainly not happy about this one, and you need to change your approach to doing business if your followers will continue to support your channel. We know you have over 5 million subscribers, but you ought to show them some respect to keep them. And you ain't doing them right by doing this to R. Kelly, who they know has been framed by the people around him, his record label and the government, which paid and coerced witnesses to testify against him in duress. According to Ann Wallace. So because R. Kelly didn't give Vlad the interview he wanted, he decided not to put the interview out. He said it's not his job to get in the middle of this, but isn't that what he always does anyways? He is always in the middle, like he was there. He ought to be careful, because it's us who watch his videos that dictate the revenue that's making him proud. He ought to remember there are other channels that can do what he does even better, so while we still watching his videos, we also need to be shown some respect. Him harassing the R&B king demanding interviews about his success that has been taken away is just being off topic. What R. Kelly talked about is exactly what we want to hear and not what Vlad thinks we want to see. According to Jack Frost P. Vlad is talking about how he wanted to talk to R. Kelly about his life and the music, and not the stuff that R. Kelly was talking about, because he's not trying to do anything to help a person like that get out. It's mighty funny how all of Vlad's interviews with these chatty patty street dude rappers are about everything but their music. He wants to know about all of the incriminating stuff that can be used against them, and constantly rehashes and instigates beef between black men. That's the price they're willing to pay for a little bit of exposure on his platform. Look at Boosie. You couldn't pay him to not run to Vlad and run his mouth. Keep on thinking that y'all have a friend in Vlad, yet you don't. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.